Altogether today, it looks like I'll be doing 15 pounds of ground beef, which is about 20 servings. I figure I'll get probably 12, maybe 10 pints, maybe more, of the cooked ground beef. So I've got, as I said, this is cooked. This one's almost cooked. And this one here I covered up. I'm cooking it slow. Got one more pack to cook up. But I don't want any of that grease. So that's why I've got it in the colander. And the grease is down there. So that's what I'm attempting to do today. But ground beef, as you all may know, is so handy. And if it's cooked, it's easy. I don't have to take it out of the freezer or the refrigerator and cook it. All I have to do is open a jar, flavor it, and we've got taco meat, we've got burritos, we've got lasagna or spaghetti, anything that you can do, cooked ground beef. So hamburger gravy is awesome done this way if you like hamburger gravy. And right here, that's one measuring cup full right there. The light doesn't really help much. Sorry, guys. Horrible lighting. But I'm going to fill this one up. As you can see, the steam's coming off. And hopefully I don't make a big mess. But we'll see how much. I'm going to fill it like to an inch or just below the bottom here. Okay. And that should give it enough room to do its thing in the pressure canner. And I'm way overfilled there. So I'll take some out. I'll bring you back when these are done. Or at least I'll do one more jar. One more jar here. Okay, on to the second jar. And I'm going to pour the hamburger in. It's full. So we'll see how full it gets. Yeah, making a mess. And that's what I find canning is work. It's time consuming. And it makes a big mess. I've got a whole bunch of dishes I'm going to have to do today. And I do them all by hand. No dishwasher here, except me. So I will be filling these up and getting them ready to go into the pressure canner. I've still got to set it up. And your guess is as good as mine. How many quart-sized jars do you think I'll fill up? Because these are being pressure canned, I did not have to pre-sterilize the jars. Just make sure that they are clean, freshly washed. And now I am going to squeeze vinegar off a paper towel. And I'm going around each of the jars. So I find it easier normally to start at the back, go all the way around, like I'm doing here. And make sure there is no grease, especially with meat. Anything that's oily or greasy, you got to be real careful with so that it seals properly. But I did these probably close to an inch from the top and just below the 3/4 mark basically is what I did. So anyway, now I can get the lids on because I know they're clean and it'll be able to go into the bottom part of the pressure canner when I get that set up. So, works really well. And as I said, you know, canning is truly an act of love, but it's also a way to preserve food for your future. And for me, some of this will be stored maybe for long term, but I kind of look at cooked hamburger as a fast food, because we don't buy a lot of fast food. We don't go into town very often and pick up Taco Bell or In-N-Out Burger or any of those kind of things. So this helps to create a fast meal on the days when I just really don't want to cook. But it's still home cooked. And that's what I'm excited about. So we got 8 quarts mason jars of meat, and that I can always take 1 or 2 jars, open it up, and do something. I ended up with the leftover meat, but I think what I might do with this, I think we're going to have something for dinner with that. I don't know what. We could have hamburger gravy. I could make burritos. I've got cheese and hamburger and spices. Make a great burrito. So, anyway, this is what we've got. I'll bring you back when I get them in the canner. Here's the grease and broth from cooking the hamburger. And I've decided I'm not going to throw this away. It's got great flavor. I'm sure I'll use it in soup or just about anything. And I can always use the grease later if I want to cook with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and can this up into the regular mouth jars, because I've cut a lot of regular mouth jars. And I'm really low on the pint size wide mouth jars. So this is liquid. Should not be an issue pouring it into the regular mouth pint jars. So here it is. We're gonna start pouring. Okay. I have 4 pints of the hamburger fat juices liquid, the hamburger liquid. I've not canned this before, but so I don't know what is oil and what is liquid. I did not strain it. I didn't put it in the fridge. I'm just going to can it with my hamburger. So we'll see how it turns out. I will be very interested to see what happens here. Anyway, I just couldn't see tossing it. I use broth, I use fat, I use all of it. So this will be a good way to preserve that. Oh, anyway, your guess is as good as mine on this one, guys. Looking for that steady 10-minute vent of steam, which it's doing. So I've got that. Getting ready to put the weight on there. For us, it's 15 pounds of weight, and I am cooking it for 90 minutes in the pressure cooker because I use the quart size jars. So it's like 70 minutes for all pints, but it's 90 minutes for the quart jars. And I added pints to that. It's fine, and it'll all cook well at 90 minutes. So altogether we had the 8 jars of hamburger and 4 jars, pint jars of the broth. So I'll let you see it when this is all ready to rock and roll. We have vented for the 10 minutes, put the weight on, which for us is 15 pounds. And here we're waiting for the pressure canner to get up to 15. Once it's up to 15, then we start the timer for 90 minutes. Just bursting with noise, so we turned it down, the flame down to about half, and we're gonna let it come back up. So now I can set my timer for 15. See, once it hits that 15 mark, then I can set my timer for 90 minutes. There's that noise it's doing on its own. So that's what we're waiting for now, is to get it all the way up to the 15 pressure, and then we can turn the fire down. I wanted to give you a view of the finished product. This is the hamburger. And we had those jars pretty full, as you saw. But when I brought them out, they had shrunk. I couldn't believe it, how much some of these shrunk down. See? And we also got, out of 15 pounds of hamburger, 4 pint-sized jars of fat. And as you can tell, very little liquid at the bottom. It's mostly fat. So I thought that was interesting too, because I know I'll use it, and I know you can buy beef lard, not lard, but tallow or whatever you call it, in the stores, and it's expensive, and it's made from beef. So this is what I made, and it turned out, guys. So yeah, you can use all of the meat to make food for your future. And you never know, in a collapse scenario, you'd never know what you would use this fat for. It could be rendered maybe into soap. Who knows? I really don't know, but you know, I think it'll be good to have on hand for long term.